Well, I once again have my UPS apart here. I just decided to do some additional work to it. I wasn't really very satisfied with the previous result in my update on it, where I found that it wasn't quite as capable as I thought it was after the end of my first video. So I'm going to make some improvements to it and see how that works out. You can see that I have the whole thing torn apart. I decided to record this before I put it all back together to show what I was doing. So, inspired from the other video that I had done with my Smart UPS 1500, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Take the bottom of this transformer, smear it up with some thermal compound, and mount that back down on the plate here. That way the transformer core can heat sink to this metal plate. The cover here just screws on with a couple screws there, so I'll put some thermal compound on that interface so it can conduct to this a little bit easier. Same with this back, fits on here kind of tight in the back. And the interface where the two meet, I can put some thermal compound on that so it can conduct up through this piece as well. That should help it stay a little bit cooler. Then I also removed this second outlet that was not connected to the inverter output, that was just connected to the input power cord, so it didn't really do me any good. I took that out. That'll allow airflow to flow past the transformer that's mounted here, instead of just flowing out the holes inside of this case. Because the transformer gets mounted here, and the holes go there, so not all of the air flows past the transformer. So this will allow some of the air to flow past it, instead of bypassing it and just going out the those perforated holes there. And then I'm also going to cover up some of these holes on here with tape or something, I don't know. I'll see how that works. The other thing I'm doing is removing the power cord. I took that out, the power cord that plugs into the wall. I realized that I'm never going to use this as a battery charger. I have two battery chargers. I have this one that I had just shown. I have a couple battery maintainers. I really don't have a use for this as anything but an inverter, so I'm just going to use it as an inverter. Remove the power cord, it gets in my way. You could leave yours on if you want. I'm going to take it off on mine. But I'll get going on this and show you the result when it's done. 10 minutes later, here it is. It's all put back together. Looks much like it did before, except in the back there's no outlet here. I have my thermocouple taped onto the transformer just to monitor it. And there's no power cord, so that won't get in my way anymore. And I'm going to turn this thing on and see how it works. On the bottom, I put thermal compound on this seam. I put thermal compound on these battery covers so that it can conduct to this plate. I put thermal compound underneath the transformer so it can conduct to this plate. So we'll see if that helps at all. The bottom of this should get extremely hot now, which means that it is heat sinking properly. But I can plug it in and see how it works, let you know. Well, the UPS has been running for about an hour continuously under this electric heater load over here, about 600 watts. It's outputting good power, 115 volts AC, and the transformer temperature is a little over 70. It's still rising, but pretty slowly. I think if I let this run for another hour, it probably would survive, but it might overheat eventually. Probably not much past another hour. So saying that this is a 700 watt continuous inverter is maybe not quite true, as I find out here. It can run for quite a long time though. I mean, this is a full hour and it's still doing alright. So I think this is a pretty good, will make a pretty good inverter the way it is. It's been a couple of months since I recorded that last segment that you just watched, and shortly after I turned off the camera, the transformer in the UPS overheated, the enamel melted, a couple of the windings shorted together, and it went into an overload condition and shut off. Now the transformer is far too expensive for me to replace, it's definitely not worth it. So I just set the whole thing aside and kind of forgot about it until now. But I thought I might as well finish this segment up so that I could get it posted. I'm sure everything would have been fine had I used an appropriate fan. However, I did not, and I paid the consequences. So if you do this, make sure you use an appropriate fan. The one that I had in there was 1 or 1.5 watts, I think, and it really didn't move much air. So put in a decent fan, and can pretty much guarantee it'll be fine for your application. So the UPS is now sitting in various piles of miscellaneous parts. This one happens to be right here on my floor just now because I scavenged something from it yesterday. But the case itself I'm going to use to get some welding experience, since I typically don't have random steel pieces laying around with the types of projects that I do. And the power cords and such, I took those off. I already used those for other things. The circuit board here I was going to throw away. It's a good thing I didn't, because I just took a few of the transistors out of it. I'm reusing them for another application, which is over here on this big table of mess. But you can see I have something going on over here right now. I took the transistors out, put them in here, trying to get this thing up and running again. It was broken when I received it. So the UPS may be dead and gone, but I'm not really going to mourn it, because it served its purpose, and parts of it are going to live on in other projects. And probably the most important thing is I learned something from it. I made some mistakes that I won't repeat too many times. And after working with sharp objects, very high currents, deadly voltages, batteries full of sulfuric acid and hydrogen gas that's explosive, I can happily report that I still have all 10 fingers and both eyes, which is loser speak for saying I failed. But in any case, it's on to other endeavors, some of which I'll probably fail at, and some of which I may show you. But thanks for watching.